Hi, this is Ron Janish, and this document you see in front of you is one of the pages in the expanded course material. What we're going to do in this video is quite quickly go over what Andrews did in the past, some of the amazing things he did in the past, and we're going to prove whether or not this was possible in the last couple of years, and we're going to figure out and communicate to you right here in this video how he was able to do it and what it is he did that dramatically increased his profits. Okay, and how he was able to do this. So this is simply a page out of the 1970 expanded course material. And as you can see here, it says results in the past week. So he's telling you out of the trades that he recommended last week, because he sends out this newsletter every Thursday and you get it, or Friday, and you get it on Monday, and you're supposed to read this section here, orders indicated, to your broker. Okay, and so what happens is here he discusses what happened in the past week, and then he talks about what the orders indicated are for the next week, and then he asks you to take a look at some case studies where he goes over some concepts and some things that you need to know regarding how to do this yourself. So this was in the around 1970, and what he was able to do was usually do a demonstration where he'd start with $5,000 and over a period of 2 or 3 months get that up to about 50,000. And so what we're going to look at is exactly what he did to achieve that and see if we can prove that that's still possible. Okay, so this is what you saw back there. Let's get out of this guy. Whoops. Let's go back to where that is. Okay. Let's move from 1970 to 1972. And as we look in 1972, we see the results of the previous week. And now the profits have gone up. I guess the swings have been much more intense, and so it's $8,621 in a week in profits. And then he talks about some of the orders in here, and short next week, and cover next Monday morning at our market, Monday on close. And here he has another case study. Now, this is the original works of Andrews. We're the only ones that have the original library, us and some course members. Okay, and this is a very, very limited edition. So this was his typical kind of newsletter that went out every week. Let's see the next week. Same thing, orders indicated. So in other words, this is what you tell your broker. Okay, and these are your present positions. This is a case study which he wants you to kind of learn a few things and draw certain lines in bean oil and stuff. Okay, so what did he do that he was able to be so successful? Well, one of the things he did in his later years, let's take a look. It wasn't a good year for having the data. Here we go. In his later years, he would put it out like this, and he wasn't actually trading at that time. He was doing this stuff on paper and still sending out the letter every week. He was on in his years, and after his wife passed away, he was kind of bummed out and stopped trading pretty much. So besides, he was a very wealthy man, so he could afford it. And here he shows why he bought or sold and all this kind of things. And then he would talk about some more things down here in the 80s. And one of the things that he would do was he would take a commodity, let's say, and always be long or short, profiting from the rise, and then profiting from the subsequent fall. And so he would use the course methods for that. Now, personally, I use them a little bit differently, and I show people how I do it also. So I show you what principles everything's based on, and I show you what kind of stuff he likes and what kind of stuff I do. I do things a little bit differently because I have a different orientation, and you might do things differently than Andrews or I, or it just depends. So what happened was we did some studies. We said, first of all, okay, can we prove that in the last couple of years, using his techniques in an orderly mechanical fashion of some sorts, and you can all do this, you can do this visually without a computer. Um, is it possible to achieve reasonable profits and with a reasonable downdraw? And so we came up with several tests that we did with the computer. And let me take a look here. Here we go. Okay, so we did one test where we tested simply using what I call the NN approach, which is just one simple course concept and just for your entry and then something else for your exit. And so this came up in the last couple of years an annualized return of about a little over 23% with a down draw that was pretty substantial of about 14. So now the trick here is to have a lower down draw than 14% and higher profits. Okay, and what Andrews would do was he would take a method like this, like the NN for a top, for example, to take advantage of the subsequent minor or even major decline in a rally, and then he would use that, and in addition he would use his other techniques. And here's a study where we did for using some of his other techniques, and this one did a bit better. This one showed a 30% over annualized over a couple of years, and the down draw was much nicer in this one here. It was only 324, or a little over 3%. So this one is a lot more livable. Okay, and the percentage of profits of the different trades and stuff worked too. So what was neat about this is we were able to show that on a consistent basis, it's theoretically possible in the last few years to use Andrews techniques, which have been around since a very long time. So now let's see what happens. What Andrews would do, remember, he would combine them. Okay, so we're going to take two of his approaches, and he had 4 or 5 different things that he looked at. And we're going to take two of his approaches and see what happens on a computerized basis. Okay, well, when we combine two of them, we get the calculated annual return of 51% and then some. But how was the down draw? I mean, the winners still stayed up there. It wasn't over 70%, but it was over 67%. And the down draw is now reduced from 14% when we come and down to 9%. Now remember, what we did was we took a 14% system and combined it with a 3% system, and it came up with this 9%. And I think we can do even better than that. So this is to give you an idea as to what Andrews did in order to achieve his exceptional high profits. Now, to go into what the different things were that Andrews looked at would take much more time than what we have here today, but I hope this gives you some good insights and a good start. Okay, thank you for your time. And if you want more information, just go over to andrewscourse.com and click on products.